It's time to kick things off. As we have witnessed also in this event, technology creates possibilities, and if used for good, we can create a much cleaner, brighter, and a better world for all living creatures. The question that will be answered next is how can we strengthen our civil society with imaginative innovation? And what is the future vision of ethics, morals, and new laws? You saw him yesterday strap a rocket to our imagination. And if he could choose one superpower, he doesn't want to fly. He doesn't need super strength. His superpower is fearlessness. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a public speaker, a publicist, an entrepreneur, and an investor, Mr. Igor Beuker.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for the introduction. It's the last dance today. So I hope you have on your dancing shoes. What I want to talk to you about today, you can see a little bit here maybe, that is a sneak preview of what I'm going to talk about today. The presentation is called Imagination Sparks Social Innovation. I'm going to talk to you a bit about today the social entrepreneurship, social enterprises, tech to do good. We've been talking a lot about science and tech facilitating business. How can we make business fly? Today I want to talk about some ideas that I have, how we can make humanity fly. And what do I mean by that? Really important, short, why do I do what I do? And that is really, really important, especially for the topic today. I had a tough upbringing and a very rough childhood, and later in life you discover that people that have, I don't know, misfit DNA, the people that need to struggle, they might have a higher sort of empathy. I didn't know that, but sometimes you need to learn things from your youth that will decide for the rest of your life maybe. I was an entrepreneur. I sold 5 businesses. When you are a poor kid and you have a low upbringing, I was kicked out of professional football and expelled from university. So basically I was 25 and I was at ground zero. I discovered the power of the internet and I thought, wow, this is going to be the most revolutionary technology for the coming 100 years. And most people said to me, Igor, well, it might be a hype, don't get your hopes up. But I had a sort of sixth sense. When I sold the businesses, I started to invest money in foundations and as an angel in 24 social startups, social enterprises, companies that have not one SDG in their mission statement, social development goal, but really companies that have a purpose to make the world cleaner, greener, brighter, better, into innovation. Basically, a lot of people asked me back then, why would you invest your money in companies that will never be profitable? I said, well, I have a different return on investment in my mind. And I would like to show you a little bit why and how. And what is the difference, for example, between if you're passionate for something, the DJs have a passion for making music. When they become really good, they make a paycheck. But what is purpose, or what is true north, or what is your why? And this started with me at a very young age. I didn't know, you discovered it mostly later in life. When I was 4 or 5 years old, there was a series on TV, The $6 Million Man. It was about Steve Austin. He was an astronaut. He crashed his spaceship, and then he was rebuilt as a cyborg. And I was like fascinated, and I think this sci-fi series sparked my fascination for sci-fi, the future, and what technology could do to us. That is, of course, rebuilding as a cyborg. I later saw that technology could really help people. This is Vanessa Lowe, a top athlete. And I kept thinking, wow, how can we apply technology to make things better, brighter, or maybe even help people, society, the planet? How far can we stretch this? And what can we do with technologies to make it more pleasant or better? And what is really important, I see that now today as well, of course, it might differ when you are older in life. Giving back and sharing is the richest feeling that I know. And when I was 20, 30 years old, I wanted to be successful, profitable, make exits, sell businesses. I still have that drive, but I also moved up. And it's about, I call it the true North Star. A concise or maybe even universal set of ideals to make things even brighter or better. And universal is, of course, it sounds nice. We're all talking about globalization, but already in Europe we're very fragmented. And in the world we have almost 200 countries and cultures and a lot of religions. So how do you create a universal set of goals and ideals? Is that even possible? As a sci-fi kid in space, I always dreamt about how could we connect space with planet Earth. How can we, for example, discover, you now see that Elon is going to Mars, you see exploration, space travel, space tourism, but I've seen also technology from space that has been applied to help the skies, the oceans, planet Earth. And what do I mean by that? There are a lot of space and satellite companies, Space for Humanity, Radiant 6, all kind of companies that now offer data, bird's eyes, satellites in the sky, so we can monitor the oceans, coral reefs, overfishing, deforestation. Suddenly we have a new way of triple play where the sky or space is helping to protect planet Earth and the oceans, which is of course unlimited. If you have an unlimited mind or a limitless mind, you can apply those ideas. And people tend to say to me 10 years ago, well, you're an idiot, or this is outrageous or crazy. But I've learned a few things, people. Is that science fiction is becoming reality. And the things that we saw in science fiction movies are now becoming reality. And how can we apply those to the world as we see it? I've also been speaking for 20 years about this. Technology can empower, but also control society. So what is really important, you also see that happening in this global pandemic. How far do we want to take technology? Is technology or a pandemic worth losing our democracies, our freedoms? Are we going to surveillance societies where we chip people and that you get social credit systems? How far do we want to take it? Because technology can do it all, ladies and gentlemen, the good and the bad. So I always speak about technology in the right hands. And what is really important, and I've been speaking for that about 20 years, and I probably will for the coming 20 years, technology with or versus against humanity. What do we want? We have so many technologies out there, but what is our global set of ethics, morals, values? What laws will we make? How will we apply this to our future? And how will we make a better, brighter future with this? So this is really, really important. For governments, for world leaders, what is our set of values and morals? Well, what is really important, of course, innovation has been part, since the Stone Age, we have been innovating. And now, this area, I will be speaking about it for the coming 20 years, I think. In my vision, we are in the middle of the 4th industrial revolution. We've had 1, 2, and 3. And the 4th industrial revolution is different. And why is it different? It's a turning point for the world as we see it. And people always ask me, "To when will this last?" I say, I don't know. We'll probably read it on Wikipedia later. Because normally we said back then was the 2nd or the 1st industrial revolution. Now we are predicting it might take till 2030, 40, maybe even 2050. But it is shaking up industries and the world as we know it. And under the hood of Industry 4.0, there are 30, 40 exponential technologies that are disrupting the world as we know it. And the most important thing that I talked about is for businesses, entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship, what are the possibilities? And you see exponential technologies going up. and our linear minds can no longer keep up with the pace of technology. It is shaking up and disrupting industries, and before we blink our eyes, it is suddenly, boom, and then we're all surprised. But I've discovered a group of people that can apply those technologies, not only to growing and scaling a business really fast, but also to make sure that exponential, 10 times faster, that we can also clean up the mess that we made on this planet. And we can fix our shit, and we can make the world 10 times faster, greener, brighter, better. So what are the ideas and how can we apply those technologies? There's of course a group of people that lives and understands technology. I call them the limitless minds, the people with foresight and mindset. They are very capable of scoping the future of humanity and society. And when you're able to see or imagine the future, you can create it. Outsiders and outliers. I have been a big fan of Sir Richard Branson, a rock star serial entrepreneur, but also a philanthropist who's giving back to society a lot. And I learned a lot from him, because you cannot only disrupt businesses and entire industries, you can also disrupt the way that we are dealing with the planet right now, and create stuff that is really helping us to clean up oceans and to make climate change really happening. But there is more to explore, because I hear that everybody wants to jump into climate change, which I really understand, and I salute that, and I hope that will really happen. But there is way more to do if we want to make the world a better, brighter, fairer place. Technology is, of course, helping us in many ways, but technology is also shaking up things as we know it. What do we want to do? Is technology going to take 30% of white-collar and blue-collar jobs? And do we want it? And how do we educate people for the future? Do we really see what's happening with exponential technologies and how we should apply that? Because otherwise, 30% of the lower jobs will be, the people will be unemployed. Is that what we want? Or do we want robots and technology to do our repetitive, routine, and heavy work, hard labor, so that we can do more social and smart things? What do we want for the future? Same for other technologies. We are all fan of autonomous driving, but what will be the impact and how can we balance this so that not 200 million people will lose their jobs? I spoke a little bit about it. 3D printing is a beautiful technology. It can even create printers' organs, and it is going to be a big trend the coming 10, 20 years. You will see 3D printing shops all around you, and in 10 years, 15 years time, we might have a 3D printer at home. And we can even print food and a lot of other things. But you will also see that I can go to a local store and say, hey, Igor, I'm picking up my Amazon blazer. It's 3D printed. Can I get it? And in 10, 15 years, I might do that at home. Amazon or the fashion brand will have the patent on it, but I can print it on home. Towards 2030, 2040, it's going to be significant 3D printing. It's the prediction. And it's not about being right, but about having an idea, what are the scenarios and where we're going. 3D printing could slash international trade manufacturing in half. And then what will we do? So technology is beautiful, but we also need to think how we want to make it work for us. I've been hearing a lot about the Great Reset, build back better. I don't know always if that is the way that we want to go, because where does it leave humanity, society, and us, the people? So I see a great acceleration possible with exponential technologies. You can do it 10 times faster. But I see a social revolution. And I think for businesses, startups, companies, governments, world leaders, purpose-driven leadership will be on the agenda for the coming 10, 20 years. What are your ethics? How are you going to apply it? And what is purpose? And I mean, I see a lot of businesses and companies, I come from the world of marketing, Hollywood purpose bullshit marketing. That we a lipstick on a pig, yeah, we're very good for the climate, but we're not. What is true purpose? And people will find out. So that's really important to me. And if we're all talking about climate change, I'm a bit surprised, people. Because if humanity is important to us, at the moment, and for a long period of time, and if we don't act now, there is 1 billion people living in poverty in this world. I don't know if there are parents watching, probably I'm a parent. There is 1 billion people, children like this, living from a garbage belt. So before we talk about climate change, should we fix this? Is this what we want for humanity? Filthy rich big tech companies, other people getting richer, and there is a billion people that have no food. Is that what we want? Other things that I am surprised about and that we can fix with human-inspired social innovation and technology can help. So there's 1 billion people that don't have food, struggle every day to survive. And there is 2 billion people on this planet, overweight or obese. You feel me? And if you're talking about the global pandemic, this might be a global pandemic. And if you lock people up for 1 more year, we will have 2.5 billion overweight or obese people, and we are creating a bigger problem. So with or without COVID, these are things that we really need to fix. And it's not only about climate change. There are big, big challenges ahead of us, and social entrepreneurship can really help. Of course, this is important. What do we want for the future and for next generations? Ecosystems or egosystems? And I believe in collaborative ecosystems where we make the world indeed a cleaner, better, brighter place. Other things where the big corporations can really help to create a better future. For me, that is purpose-driven marketing. People, planet, profit. Sustainability might be the new profitability. But how can we solve this? We're now in a hit-and-run world where 3-6 months shareholder value is always awarded on profitability. More money, yeah. But where is the social sustainability index? That all the investors can see, okay, this company is going to be profitable, I will probably make money. But on a scale of 1 to 10, what is this doing, this company, this stock, doing for the planet or for the people? So if you can be very profitable with stock A, but it gets a 4 on the ranking of social, it's not very good for the planet, you might be able to say, well, based on that social sustainability index, those shares are okay too. We need to change entire systems because we now create systems that are facilitating hit and run profit. And I see that social entrepreneurship, the crazy ones, the people that have different ideas, the new role models can really do that. And why? Well, you know, entrepreneurs are smart and they can develop new ideas really, really fast. Much faster, mostly, than big corporations or governments. We don't need too many politics or discussions as an entrepreneur. We just go out and do it. And I told you about Sir Richard Branson, brands that strive the coming years, brands that have a true purpose, might be the companies that we embrace. And the other companies, no matter how profitable, we might let them go. And I had a discussion many years ago in Davos at the World Economic Forum. I said, ladies and gentlemen, dear world leaders, we're all talking about it. But people like Boyan Slat, social entrepreneurs, they're doing it. They start crowdfunding, they raise money, and he's cleaning up our oceans. And in 20 years, 2040, you could have all oceans plastic-free. My journey and mission is, how can we find and fund 10 more Boyans so that we can do it faster and better? And we don't need to talk about it for years. Sometimes entrepreneurs just go out and do it. So that's why I'm so much in love with social entrepreneurship and working with startup ecosystems and VCs, because that's really difficult. I see a lot of movements now, big events like this and in Helsinki and all around the world where startups gather. But how do we get the VCs on board? Because the VCs mostly tell me, yeah, but Igor, what is the ROI? I said, well, preserving 30% of our oceans before 2030. That's a real tangible ROI. Yeah, it's not really making any money. He said, no. But if you have children, they will still have a planet in the future. Is that a different ROI? What is it all about in life? So, and I'm very passionate about this. I think this is the most crucial period in the history of our world. What do we want? How can social entrepreneurship and innovation help us? And summarizing again, this is the moment. We now have access to the exponential technologies to speed up social innovation. But it's about culture, mindset, heart set, DNA. What do we want to do? Do we want to tweak our ecosystem? Change the sun, create rain, or are we going to go back and be part of our ecosystem? Because sometimes human beings, we're acting like the gods, and we're not. So if we are going to change things, I hope it's going to be inspired by humans, that we can apply sci-fi, maybe even use the satellites not to track and monitor people, but to track and monitor maybe our oceans, maybe deforestation, and maybe other things. And to close off with some of these social entrepreneurs, Elon Musk is an example, but Boyan Slat is an example, and you can be an example. Be nice to nerds. We will all end up working for one. And social innovation, ladies and gentlemen, dive into it. I hope you get shit done. And we can really do this much faster than we all ever imagined. Thank you very much.